Greetings everyone, my name is Declan Kearns, and sadly, reason why I haven't been doing any videos lately is because unfortunately I have a lot of schoolwork to do and a lot of other activities. This is why there's that old childhood saying that growing up truly sucks. And that's the sad part. You want to do things your way, but other affairs are getting in the middle of what you want. It's just sad when you think about it. But anyway, enough of that negativity, let's get on with the positive stuff. And today, I was gonna talk about a criminally underrated cartoon that was sadly overlooked and treated like crap by the studio. And it more than definitely deserved the chance to shine. So, if you're wondering what cartoon I'm talking about today, it is basically a cartoon by the name of Swat Kats, the Radical Squadron, which was made by Hanna-Barbera. Yes, the same Hanna-Barbera who made the Flintstones and everything, made that kick-ass and underrated as hell cartoon that deserved much better than it did. So the premise is about, these two pilots called T-Bone and Razor who go around fighting crime in a fictional world inhabited by anthropomorphic cats called Cats with the letter K, taking place in Mega Cat City, going around fighting crime and villainy, kicking arse and taking names. So that's the premise for what I have on Swat Kats, the Radical Squadron. So of course, our two main protagonists are the likable T-Bone and Razor. So basically T-Bone is like the guy in charge, and he pilots the plane called the Turbo Cat and everything. And then you have Razor, who is more or less the brains of the team and everything. And it's really funny how he is voiced by Donatello's original actor from the 1980s Ninja Turtles cartoon when you think about it. And in a way, his personality kind of bears so much resemblance to Donatello. And the chemistry between our two leads is great. Once in a while, they have a friendly rivalry to see who's better than who. And as for their real names are basically Chance and Jake, who started off as enforcer pilots, the show's equivalents of, should I say, the police, who operate more as a special task force. It was during a botched operation that was completely ruined by the egotistical Commander Farrell. We'll get to him in a minute. And ever since that day, they were both relegated to the junkyard and all that stuff, in where they have to repay for all the damage they caused to a headquarters because Farrell is egotistical and doesn't admit when he's wrong. And ever since that day, the two decided to work together to become vigilantes. And also coming up is should I say, we have Mayor Manx, who's basically the incompetent mayor of Mega Cat City, who basically serves as the film's comic relief. And then of course, should I say, you later have Callie, who's basically the deputy mayor of Mega Cat City, who is basically the competent deputy mayor in contrast to Mayor Manx's incompetence, and is one of the few people who actually trusts the SWAT Kats and helps them. Then you have Commander Luis Farrell, who is voiced by the late Gary Owen, Space Ghost's original voice actor. Who basically, should I say, is the guy in charge of the enforcers in Mega Cat City. But of course, Farrell is too much of an egotistical is too much of an egotistical airhead. So basically, picture him as a cross between like J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man and with a bit of Commissioner Gordon in between. And that's exactly what he is. So let's get on to the bad guys. The show did have a lot of one-time villains, but let me just talk about the major antagonists in this show. Let's start off with the main antagonist, who basically is Dark Cat, who basically serves as the show's main antagonist. I basically like picture this guy as a cross between Doctor Doom, Kingpin, Darth Vader, and a bit of Skeletor, who is willing to turn Mega Cat City into a crime-ridden dystopia, as he puts it, so he can rule. And the henchmen who are also there to support him are his creeplings, those little pink demon gremlin things. And then of course later you have another bad guy by the name of Dr. Viper, who is basically like, imagine if you got Dr. Kurt Connors from who's basically the mutated half cat, half viper bad guy, who is basically trying to turn Mega Cat City into a giant radioactive swamp. Who is basically trying to turn, sorry about my stammering, who is basically trying to turn Mega Cat City into a giant radioactive swamp. And he is voiced by the legendary Frank Welker, who, for all those of you who don't know, is my favorite voice actor of all time. And I love Frank Welker to death. You can never go wrong with Frank Welker. And then later we have the Past Master, who is this undead sorcerer who seeks to destroy the present so the past can succeed, who often serves as one of the deadlier adversaries to the Swat Kats. And then you later have these two reoccurring villains being called Mac and Molly, the Metallocats, who are basically, should I say, two gangsters who sadly died in a botched prison escape and were later turned into robots by Dr. Heckle. Sorry about that. I had to go search his name up again. I tend to forget. And then, those are basically the characters. So let us also talk about the animation in said show, because the animation is pretty much one of the bigger highlights of this show. Basically, season 1 was done by 2 different animation studios, and you can tell which studios did which animation, because in episodes 1, 7, 10, and 13 it was done by animation studio Mook Animation, the same animation studio who would later do The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest Season 2, as well as, should I say, the original 4 direct-to-video Scooby-Doo films from the late 90s and early 2000s. But of course, Mook Animation Studio finally got their time to shine during Season 2. Because the creators were not fans of how the animation from Season 1 turned out, and especially during the second season, it takes a huge boost in animation, which greatly improves on the action set pieces. I am not saying that most of the Korean animated episodes are badly animated or anything, it's just that it finally got its time to shine during the second season. And the action set pieces are kick-ass, some of the best I have ever seen in any cartoon whatsoever. And let us talk about the music. This show has easily some of the best music I have ever heard in any animation, especially when it comes to the season 2 theme. The first theme is great on its own, and then of course, should I say, season 2's was even better. Season 2's was even better. It's just a shame that we don't get music like that in shows nowadays, because sadly, people nowadays have become so lazy. But sadly, not all good things last long. The show ran from 1993 to 1995. If though, because the stupid Karens bitched and complained about the show being way too violent for kids. And after 2 seasons, the show eventually got cancelled, which left 3 unmade episodes. Those being Succubus, Turmoil 2 The Revenge, and of course, should I say, The Two Doctors. Now, before I get into those episodes, I'd like to talk a bit about Season 2. Well, Season 2 this time around goes for a much darker tone. It focuses less on the SWAT Kats' civilian lives and focuses more on them as being heroes. We also have an episode in where, should I say, Razor suffers from PTSD after thinking he injured 2 civilians. We have an episode in where the SWAT Kats travel to an alternate reality in where they discover they are dead and one of their bad guys has taken over the world. We even have an episode in where T-Bone is confronted by the sexy / deadly Baroness-esque villain known as Turmoil. And also this season introduces a new character by the name of Felina Farrell, who, just like Callie, is one of the few people who trust the SWAT Kats and listens to them. But then of course, like I said, it had a lot of potential to be a great show and live up to its full potential. But stupid Karens cancelled the show because think about the kids, damn you. So speaking of those 3 unmade episodes, one in particular, I'm pretty sure you've seen the plot before, but you've never heard of the show. This plot would later be reused for Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, as well as the Real Adventures of Johnny Quest episode Succubus. Because in a way all three have a similar plot point and all that stuff. So anyway, that's all I got to talk about for SWAT Kats for today. It is a criminally underrated cartoon if you want to check about it. And if you're wondering how I'm going to give this cartoon, I'm going to give it a perfect 10 out of 10. That's all I have for today. Declan Kearns out.